Welcome to our first episode of 2010 On The Road with Whitman-Hanson Community Access. And we're in downtown Whitman for one of the newest spots in town, McGuiggan's Pub. Let's go inside and see what everybody's talking about. Joining us today, he is the proprietor of this fine establishment, Mr. Richard Rosen. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Talk to us about this establishment in downtown Whitman, known as McGuiggan's.
McGuiggan's Pub. We've been open for about 6 weeks. Business has been pretty good. It's been very well received in Whitman. It was something that over the years I had thought about doing, and thought that there was a need for something like this in Whitman. And this building presented itself to me, and after looking at it, came to the determination that it might work, and then a lot of research started, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Now, unless I'm crazy, your last name is McGuiggan's. Now, how did the name McGuiggan's Pub come together?
My wife's maiden name.
Okay.
So we didn't have to go far for a good Irish name.
Okay.
You know, over the years, we've heard from many people saying, you know, Whitman needs a good Irish pub. I think that 54% of the town of Whitman on St. Patrick's Day claim to be Irish, of Irish descent. So clearly there was a need, and we're filling that need right now.
What did you do when you were first putting the plans together, deciding how you wanted this dream establishment to come together? What were some of the key little things that you made sure McGuiggan's Pub had?
Well, first and foremost, we had to make sure that the building was big enough to achieve what we wanted to achieve. So when I came in and looked at the building before I bought it, I thought that it may work. It may lay out properly in terms of what I had always envisioned, which is really what you see here. A long bar with a drink rail separating the bar from the dining room side. So I needed to make sure that that would actually lay out. So either prior to or just after buying the building, we came in and did some measurements, talked to an architect, and found in fact that it would lay out exactly the way we wanted it. If this building was 5 feet narrower, it wouldn't have worked. And most people don't realize the depth of this building. It's, you know, people that came in here during construction and since we've opened have all said, geez, I can't believe how long the building is. So we really brought this building down to 4 walls during the course of last winter and early in 2009, and started with a shell of a building.
Talk to us as far as now you can have the pub side, but how about as far as something to eat? Talk to us about the menu and how you kind of put that together collectively.
We have the trend in restauranting, the trend in dining is changing from the way that it used to be, going out to dinner and having large meals. The trend is changing to smaller meals, pub style. So what we tried to achieve was we tried to give a true pub style menu, which we've done. We have about 16 appetizers. We have 5 salads. We have a number of burgers. We have a dozen or so entrees, soups. And it's what they refer to as comfort food. I mean, and of course, being an Irish pub, we had to have some Irish fare. We have shepherd's pie, and we have bangers of mashed, and we have fish and chips, which are true Irish fare.
Okay. What's it like to realize now, from what I understand, this is kind of a dream, being a very successful realtor?
Well, being a realtor.
Oh, being a realtor.
Okay.
What's it like kind of coming into the restaurant side of things, yet getting into another business?
It's a lot of work. I said to someone the other day, I've thought about this for 30 years. I probably should have thought about it for another 5 before I did it. The 2 people that are really taking the biggest brunt is my daughter Danielle, who will be managing the place, and my wife Kathy, who is spending a bit more time here than I think she'd anticipated. So it's a true family. It's a true family ordeal. I myself am having fun. From December 9th, when we opened, till January 2nd, it was kind of like we were just thrown into this thing, and we opened, and it was kind of crazy. But since that, things have calmed down a little bit. It's gotten a little bit calmed down. I say it was just so overwhelming and so busy that none of us really had time to take a breath. Danielle worked 120 hours the first week.
Wow.
And it was kind of nuts. But we now have another manager on board, so people are afforded a day off, a little bit more time. So it's better than it was.
How welcome is it in the town of Whitman especially in a day and age where the economy has a lot of question marks for a lot of small to medium businesses, how important is it to have an establishment like this in downtown Whitman?
Oh, I think it's huge. I mean, it's literally brought life back to Whitman Center, which people have talked about for a long time, that after 5 o'clock at night there was nothing in Whitman Center, and they were right. I mean, there was, people would question me about parking. Well, if anybody ever went through the center after 5 o'clock at night, you would know that there was nobody parked in the center from School Street, well past, Duval's and up through the center. There was just no cars in the center. We now have really brought life back to Whitman Center. There are a lot of people here at night. There's a lot of cars here. There's plenty of parking, and it's bringing people downtown, even at lunchtime. It's bringing a lot of people into the downtown area that may not have been here. So, I mean, it helps not only McGuiggan's, it helps some of the other businesses in town, and it helps the town in general. I mean, we have a lot of people coming here from surrounding towns, so it can't do anything but help this particular area.
You're up and running, things look like they're going well. Any future plans or future things that you may add to the menu down the road?
Well, the menu is always being reviewed. We just added 2 new appetizers last week, and we reprinted the entire menu. I mean, we'll review the menu in another month or so, but it will continuously be reviewed and refreshed and changed, and we'll take things off that don't sell and add things that we think will.
What seems to be some of the favorites that so far?
The number one seller on the entree side are the steak tips, and shepherd's pie, I think, is number 2, and we serve the biggest piece of fish around, fish and chips. In terms of sandwiches, the Reuben, and everybody is raving about the Reuben, is the number 1 sandwich. We have a McGuiggan's salad, and that's the number 1 salad. Our computer system allows us to track everything, so it's pretty interesting to watch trends.
And who's the guy who's in the kitchen? Who are the people who are in the kitchen who are kind of making this culminate in such a success?
There's a guy who you're going to meet shortly whose name is Jim Keene. He was the very first person that we hired during our job fair, and I had said that if this guy's half as good as we think he is, then we're going to do quite well. And he is doing unbelievable.
Excellent.
And we're really pleased.
Should we go meet him now, you think?
Let's go meet him.
Why don't we go check in with Mr. Keene out in the kitchen? We'll be right back in a moment. All right, we're here in the kitchen of McGuiggan's Pub with Iron Chef Jim Keene. He is the guy behind all the cooking here, along with a great staff of people. Give us some of the people on your staff.
This is Guido right here.
How you doing?
This is Brian. This is one of our waitresses, Maureen. This is my prep dishwasher here, Paulo. And that's my lead prep in daytime girl, Nicole, down the end.
All right, so Jim, what are we going to be preparing
I'm
today?
going to prepare for you guys today a special that Richard loves. He brought this in from a place where he's been eating from for years. He needed to have them in this restaurant. They're called seafood cakes. It's his favorite appetizer to have.
All right, kind of talk us through it as you're making them. I'll step out of the way and do a little bit of play-by-play on the side.
What we do is the seafood cakes are already prepared, so all we're going to do is over a medium flame, we go with some drawn butter, a little bit of vegetable oil, olive oil, this comes lukewarm. You got to get right in here if you don't mind. These are 2 4-ounce fresh seafood cakes there. They have shrimp, scallops, and clam all in it. I've never actually prepared these the way Richard likes before, so I just batter the bottom of the flour, dip it into the lukewarm water, saute it around, make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. It's a little bit of a lengthy appetizer, but we try and prepare it the exact way that Richard's always eaten them and loved them. So as well as presentation-wise, we try and stick with that. Once they brown on the bottom, we flip it on over for a golden brown on both sides. Stick them on in the oven to finish them off, make sure they're all caked on up, and then presentate right on up.
Any thought to doing any other kind of cake, or is this kind of the primary
This
one
is kind
right
of his
now?
primary. This is the one. I mean, he also likes fish cakes as well and stuff like that. I make a nice fish cake for a homemade and stuff, but that's something for the summertime. Wintertime now, cake thing isn't really moving all too well, so that's something we do. We do a decent amount of seafood, especially. We do some swordfish, some scallops, clams and such. It goes pretty well. It's down around this area here, so. being an Irish pub, trying to keep it to the Irish theme as well.
What's how many cakes can we see go out on a good day here?
On a good day, you're looking at about 7 or 8 orders.
Wow.
It's more an expensive appetizer we have on the board. Again, pub style type deal. A lot of people go with their onion rings, their fried pickles, and mozzarella sticks and so forth. But about 7 or 8 orders of these will fly out on a good night.
Okay. And what can we see them served with?
These come in our homemade bistro sauce. It's an aioli type sauce. It's actually really great. People seem to love it. We were trying to find exactly the way it was that Richard used to eat them down in his restaurant. So we tried to match the sauce to exactly the way he had it down there. So.
Talk to us about being here at McGuiggan's compared to other places that you have been behind the menu.
First and foremost, Richard went all out and he bought all new equipment. So, I mean, that's one of the greatest things to come on into as a chef. You come on in, everything's brand new, it's clean, it's ready to go. So you want to concentrate on keeping everything as clean as possible and looking as good as possible as there is for them. As well as just having a guy who pretty much anything I need, he'll get it. You know, he has no problem running out and spending a couple extra $100 to get something that I definitely need to sit there and make my life a little bit easier.
Right.
He's a great guy.
As we can see, the cakes have a nice brown to them.
It's a little tricky to sit there and get not to stick, but again, that's the brown that he usually gets. It's impossible to keep them clumped together because there's so much seafood stuffed on into them. It's a hard thing to keep together, but in the end, after the presentation, everything, they do look delicious. So.
And as we see behind you, we see steaks are on the grill.
Oh yeah, New York sirloins.
Steak tip is a big thing.
Steak tip's a big thing here. Yeah, burgers and steak tips. We use all certified Angus beef for everything that we use. So we sell a good sized portion and a great burger with any type of choice, and people seem to love them. We sell a lot of burgers, a lot of chicken, a lot of steak tips, homemade marinated steak tips seem to go well. So.
Yeah, we are talking with Chef Jim Keene.
Yep.
And talk to me about some of the other places that you've worked in, and compared to being here, and some of the cuisine that you've worked with in the past.
Right, I've been in pub style type restaurants for quite a few years now. Coming from last place here, I was working at a family-owned restaurant.
Yep.
It's night and day. I mean, you kind of come in with something with used equipment and stuff that you're fighting with all the time, and a very tight budget and so forth with everything. Coming on into here, it's kind of night and day. He just wants everything to be perfect, so we try and just make sure everything comes out looking great for him every time. And
to see him plating the cakes right now.
And just to finish them off, we just stick them in the oven for about 2 minutes. Presentation.
And what does that do? What happens when?
Heats it thoroughly, because I mean, again, it's a raw product. So we start off the pan just to golden up and finish it off in the oven to make sure it's fully baked and ready to go. Go with Richard's presentation. He likes shredded carrots on either side. Lemon, obviously. Seafood cakes will lay right on in here.
Give you
Beef
five.
sauce right
We give you 5 points for presentation.
Well, thank you much. I appreciate it. So they'll take about another 3 minutes, and I'll plate them on up, and that's pretty much it from there.
Okay. We'll wait a few minutes for that. Now, we also know you do a fine fish and chip. Talk to
Yes.
us about that.
Yes.
Talk us through
Fish and
it.
chip is fresh haddock that we use here, always fresh haddock, skinless. It's a 10-ounce portion that we give. It's a very nice fillet. It comes out, it's a very nice portion on the presentation as it comes on out. Again, we do a wow factor here, so we try and make sure that everything goes out. People are impressed when they see it in front of them, that they're happy to get the money that they spent's worth. So it always works out well. We sell a decent amount of fish and chip. I probably go through about 80 pounds a week. Wow. So it goes pretty well. Again, with all the other seafood specials that we have as well. It's a pretty nice mover.
Okay. As we wait.
Some mushrooms there, Guido? They have homemade specials like New York sirloin, sauteed mushrooms on the top there, polish on off, just a little additive. This is our homemade bistro sauce. Again, it's like a chipotle aioli type sauce, so it's very good. Presentation-wise, we don't just leave it on the side, lay it right on the plate there, so the customer knows what they're getting on into and such. Again, another minute or so, that should be all set. Okay. Finished presentations.
So now we're plating the seafood cakes.
Yep.
Very nice.
Dangle right on off. Apply a little bistro sauce right to the top of each cake.
Just a tease, yeah.
Yep. And finish it off with a little bit more dipping for the customer right here. That is it.
Very nice. Wow. All right, so do we want to kind of go right into the fish and chips now? Take a look at those?
Yep.
All right, so now we're getting ready to do some fish and chips. What are we doing right now?
Obviously, fish takes much shorter time than French fry does.
Yep,
We drop down our order of French fries. We do an average about 7 ounces per order. For a while to get used to the weights in your hand. And then we have, again, it's 10 ounce skinless haddock. Nice size, very nice grain and everything to it. What we do is we just dip it here in the egg wash. Straight into my clam fry.
You get a nice coating on it.
Yep. Ready? Right on down.
Now, how long will you drop it in for?
That takes about 3 to 4 minutes there, depending on the size of the neck itself there. Again, once I sell it, I go through about 80 pounds between the fish and chip and a fried haddock there. I'll go through about 80 pounds a week on average.
Very nice. And a meal like this will take how long for you to prepare for a customer?
About 5 minutes.
5 minutes, not too bad.
Yeah, very quick. It's
No
good for
waiting.
a quick lunch type deal. Many of our specials, we try and keep them pretty quick. I sell a lot of Reubens. Reubens, I sell many. The nice corned beef, Old Neighborhood, nice thin corned beef we use. They take about 5 minutes in and out. We try and get things done as quickly as possible. The quicker I turn over a customer, the happier the customer is and the happier the boss is. So.
We actually hear that, according to the owner, Rich Rosen, that the Reuben is right up there with
yes.
a lot of your stuff.
Oh yes, very, very high seller. The first couple of weeks when we first opened, I was going through cases. My prep guy was slicing about 4 cases every other day. It was kind of ridiculous, yeah. We give everything portion-wise, we do everything weight. We give about 6 ounces of meat with each thing, so it's a very good sized portion of meat, and it really looks nice on the presentation on the plate and everything.
As a cook, do you feel that's kind of important, making sure portion sizes?
Consistency is very important, you know, making sure you get the same product each time, making sure it's the same size each time, because when customer comes in the first time, you want them to come back and get the same exact thing the next time, and everybody's happy and they'll keep coming back, and that's one of the main things to try and do back here.
Excellent.
So I'll just make up a quick plate for it.
Okay.
We do everything on a basket here. Get some, oh, hey, look at that. New burrito on top of the ball, there we go. Presentation, standard fish and chip, obviously. Kale, lemon, coleslaw. The fish, obviously, usually most restaurants, you sell a decent amount. For this area, there's not a lot of seafood places, so I do sell a decent amount of this, but generally for this amount that I've been selling each time, that's generally around Lent time, so I'm looking forward to Lent, because I can just imagine an 80 on average Lent time, I'll probably be around 160, 200 pounds, so it should be exciting.
Now, why do we use the pie plates?
Pappas plates, so the fish will hold together for me. It's better than grabbing anything with tongs. It'll smush anything, grab with your hands, unless you're used to having the heat. You're not going to have any trouble with it. A Pappas plate's something I've always used for years. Helps so it doesn't try and take anything apart. See, the fish is very fresh, so it likes to fall apart on you. You can kind of see a little crack happen right there. But the Pappas plates kind of helps it keep together. That's pretty much it. It's one of our largest sellers.
Okay. Well, this is the taste test, and we got staff all kind of standing around seeing what the verdict will be. As we will try one of McGuiggan's Pub's favorites. That's some good stuff.
Nice.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Next.
Nice job.
Thank you, sir.
Seafood cakes. Don't mind me, I'm gonna try another bite because it was that good.
Grab the tartar sauce.
You can't get a bigger piece than that anywhere. Of course, we'll take a little try of that. How'd you know I like tartar sauce?
Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
Thumbs up here, guys. Great job.
Great, thank you.
So for all the staff here, Iron Chef Jim,
Brian?
I'm going to head back out and talk a little bit more to Mr. McGuiggan's pub himself, Mr. Richie Rosen. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and that was pretty cool. Fish and chips.
That was
huh?
good. Yeah, fish and chips.
So,
True Irish fare.
Got a chance to find out about things on the kitchen side and some of the menu. Talk to us about the bar side of things.
The bar is 54 feet of mahogany. When I did the footprint of the building, the floor plan of the building, we tried to figure out where everything would lay out. So when we did that, I contracted with a company out of Connecticut. I was referred to these people called Harbor House, and they're out of Norwalk, Connecticut, and all they do is build bars. They build bars all over the world. Literally, they'll build them and they ship them, and you have to put it together. So we have a 54-foot mahogany bar. They built the bar, the back bar base, the back bar upper, and then the soffit, and we put it together. The bar itself seats 22 people, and we seat another 20 at the drink rail behind us.
Yep.
It's set up for it's a three-station bar, meaning it's set up for 3 bartenders.
Okay.
We have about every liquor that you could imagine that a bar would have. We have quite an extensive wine list, and we have 2 draft stations where we have 6 different drafts at 2 stations, and we have 22 bottled beers.
So what went into trying to make sure that you had the finest, not only in a nice mahogany bar, and having separate stations, being able to have 3 bartenders behind there comfortably, being able to service all the people that come in here? How much time and effort went into that? And then on top of it, choosing what you would serve to your customers.
It's a good question. Everything in this building was meticulously planned. I mean, right down to the silverware and the glasses. A lot of planning went into the bar. The company came up here 3 times. A lot of measurements.
Yep.
There was a lot of research and a lot of planning that went in to make McGuiggan's what it is today. And at the end of the day, we can say that it actually came out the way that we wanted it to. We have 8 flat screen TVs. There's a couple.
I noticed that.
There's 3 different size TVs in here. These 2 down this end of the bar are 50 inches, and we have 4 42-inch TVs, and then we have 2 46-inch TVs. So, I mean, even into the measurements of the TVs, we have Kino. We are going to add 1 more Kino television. We found that there's a spot where we need 1 more TV in here. So we'll adjust as we go. But again, everything was meticulously planned, right down to the front of the building, and the look that you get when you drive by. We thought that we needed to present the wow effect. And I wanted, when you open the door, to walk in here and go, wow. And we built something that there isn't anything like this around here. So, if we give them the wow effect, good food, good drink at a good price, and people will come back. And that's what we are trying to achieve.
What's some of the things what's the feedback that you've been hearing from the customers?
It's been overwhelming positive. It's all been positive, overwhelmingly positive. The chef who you've met is just a great guy. He's got a great crew, and they're doing a tremendous job. We have a really good crew of waitresses and bartenders, and it's all working very well. I mean, you would think that when you open from the beginning that you may have some issues, but we really haven't had any problems from when we opened, and I attribute it to the crew. We have Chris McMillan is here, who's one of the managers right now, who has been a tremendous asset to me in opening the establishment. He'll be here for a bit longer before he leaves. He's been extremely valuable, but I mean, it's the things that went into opening that made it a very smooth opening and a successful opening.
So you're attributing things from top to bottom.
No question about it.
Into your success so far.
No question about it. I mean, it wasn't just the facility and the planning, it was the people that work here as well have really done well here.
Any anticipation for your first St. Patrick's Day?
We're planning it right now. We've been talking about it. We have managers meetings every week. It's a topic that comes up quite often. We're trying to figure out exactly what to do and how to do it. We have had a bagpiper in here. We had a bagpiper in here for a couple of hours one night. He came up the ramp with his bagpipe blaring and his kilt on, and he stayed for a few hours. That was a pretty interesting evening. That was when we first opened, but we haven't finalized plans. We are going to do a Valentine's Day special. We're going to do a St. Patty's Day. We will do all the holidays. We intend to perhaps get involved in some community events as well down the road.
Okay. Now, I know that there was early on when you had presented things to the Board of Selectmen, there was talk of possibly having maybe some small entertainment. Is that still on the forefront, or something that you may look at down the road?
I believe that we'll do something down the road, but not right now. I mean, right now it's still we're still extremely busy every night of the week, and I don't want to tinker with that right now. But we are wired and set up for perhaps a single guitar player or an Irish fiddle or something like that. I have been getting requests. There's a group of people that travel around to Irish pubs, and they have different nights where they have Irish fiddlers in, and I've been contacted by some to perhaps do it here, which I anticipate we'll do in the future.
Now, if the folks at home who are watching want to know your hours, how they can get in touch and find out, more about McGuiggan's Pub, give us that necessary information.
The website is www.mcguigganspub.com. Great website. Our phone number is 781-447-7333. We're open 7 days a week. We open every day at 11:30 except Sunday. We open at noon, and we close at around midnight Sunday through Thursday, and then we're open till 1 on Friday and Saturday.
Well, I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming.
Anything in closing before we go?
No, I just welcome everybody around to come in and visit McGuiggan's Pub.
There you go. There you have it. Another episode of On the Road with WHCA. For Steve Roy and Mr. Rich Rosen, I'm Kevin Fauci. Stay tuned for more episodes. Good day.
Go to jail for a gun crime, and your family serves a sentence with you.